Storms moving into Texoma tonight, how severe they could be and how long they'll stick around.
The president announced he's designating places of worship as essential, and he's calling on them to open right away. I'm Natalie Brand with why the coronavirus task force is still urging caution this Memorial Day weekend.
And lakes expected to be packed this holiday weekend. How one marina is preparing for the crowds. News 12 at 5 starts right now.
Live from 12 Studios, this is News 12 at 5.
Welcome to News 12 at 5. I'm Dan Thomas. Jen has the night off. Severe storms may bring trouble to Texoma later tonight, but it's eerily quiet outside right now. Chief Meteorologist Steve Lenore has been tracking it all on Doppler 12. Steve, what do you got for us tonight?
It's one of those evenings you go outside, the air is just so humid, you think, oh my, something's going to happen. And it may. We have to take a look at that right now on Doppler 12. First of all, there is a severe thunderstorm warning out to the west of us. It's out by Wichita Falls, but you can see an orange polygon there. That may be the beginning of a whole big batch of severe storms firing again well to the west of Texoma right now. On Doppler 12 Live, you can see this storm in the last hour has really blossomed here just to the north of Wichita Falls, and it is tracking to the northeast, as you can see here on the ETA tracker. It would be to the I-35 corridor around 7:45. So if that storm maintains its course and intensity, it could be into our viewing area in a couple of hours. And I got to tell you, more storms may form back here. It's not like that's the only storm we're watching for the evening. That's the only one that's out there right now. So here are the threats. We got a significant threat of some damaging wind, a higher threat of some damaging hail, especially along and south of the Red River in our North Texas counties. And there's some chance, but not a huge chance, of a tornado. I would say it's on the lower end of the scale, but certainly there's at least a threat of an isolated tornado. And Futurecast does show these storms developing through the evening. Dan, they're going to be scattered, but where storms do form, they're likely to produce some dangerous weather. So again, we don't see much now, but an hour or two, things could change. More on that a bit later in the show. And of course, heavy rain later in the weekend. That's also going to be talked about. All right, we're all ears. Thanks, Steve. A Choctaw County man in jail tonight accused of shooting his father dead, then setting fire to the crime scene. 27-year-old Gunnar Hemingway faces first-degree murder and arson charges. Choctaw County Sheriff Terry Parks says deputies and a trooper arrived at the scene of a shots-fired call on Fallon Road yesterday afternoon to find a mobile home on fire. Parks says the officers pulled 47-year-old Rusty Hemingway out of the burning structure. He'd already been shot dead. Deputies arrested Hemingway in a wooded area nearby. And officials say 34-year-old Clyde Kofelt, a missing man from the Pushmataha area, was found dead yesterday. Kofelt went missing earlier this week, and was last seen at home on Earl Self Road in Cloudy. No other information has been released, but earlier this week, Pushmataha County Sheriff B.J. Hitchcock said he did not suspect foul play. And Bryan County health officials say a nursing home in Durant had 2 employees test positive for COVID-19. The health department says the staff members at 4 Seasons tested positive for the virus after the facility was mass tested earlier this week. A representative from the health department says no patients have tested positive and no patients are even showing symptoms of the disease. Those 2 staff members who did test positive are not hospitalized, and they are in quarantine. Well, there have been 29 new positive cases of COVID-19 in Texoma reported today. Lamar County reported 5 new cases for a total of 133. Fannin County confirmed 9 new cases this afternoon, with 3 of them at the Fannin County Jail. There have now been 38 cases in the county. In Oklahoma, 5 new cases reported today in Carter and McCurtain counties, 2 in Love and Choctaw, and additional case in Stevens County. Yesterday, Grayson County confirmed its second COVID-19 death, a man in his 60s from Howell. Texoma now has 613 people who have been diagnosed with COVID-19. 251 people have recovered, and 19 Texomans with COVID-19 have died. Well, Southeastern will bring employees back to campus next month as they get ready to resume in-person classes this fall. The university says starting June 1st, around 30% of employees will be on site. June 15th, another 30% will join them. The goal is to have everyone working back on campus in July. The school has not said when campus will open back up to the public, but face-to-face classes will resume
in the fall. Well, the Chickasaw Nation says its gaming facilities, including WinStar, will begin reopening Wednesday. The casinos will open at 8 a.m. at 25% capacity and will close at 4 a.m. for cleaning. Table games will remain closed for the time being. Guests and employees will have to wear face coverings at all times. And marinas on Lake Texoma expect this Memorial Day weekend to be jam-packed since people have been cooped up inside the past couple of months. News 12's Meredith McCown is live near Lake Texoma. Meredith, what's it like out there?
We're at the point at Grand Pappy Marina where several people are already out here getting into the spirit to kick off the weekend, and they are taking safety precautions like servers wearing masks and setting tables at least 12 feet apart. The pandemic isn't stopping people from heading to the lake for the holiday weekend. Grand Pappy Marina brand manager Tyler Walston says all cabins and boat rentals are booked up for the next 3 days. He says it's been busier than usual this time of year, with people coming from the Metroplex to social distance at their lake houses. Along with taking precautions at the point, he says they're checking employees' temperatures and screening employees and guests. Like when we walked in, they asked if we had any symptoms or had been around anyone with COVID-19.
Try to encourage people just to stay with their families and stay on their boats. But I mean, we think it's going to be okay. Everybody's got their own space. They're going to get on their boat, be on the water, and I think it's going to be all right.
And phase 2 to open Texas starts today, meaning restaurants can open up to 50% capacity instead of 25%, and outdoor patios like this one can open up to full capacity. Eisenhower State Park says they're already booked up for the entire weekend. You can only go if you have an online day pass. Live at Lake Texoma, Meredith McCown, News 12.
Well, this weekend kicks off the unofficial start to summer, but current rules at beaches vary widely from state to state. Michael George reports from Coney Island in Brooklyn, New York.
The sand and surf are beckoning this holiday weekend, putting fears of the pandemic aside for many.
After like 60-something days indoors, it's nice to soak up the sun back on the beach.
In hard-hit New Jersey, restrictions are in place along the Jersey shore.
We're going to have what we call social monitoring, people walking around to remind people that they should be separated. We're not going to kick them off the beach or have them arrested or anything like that. We'll just strongly advise them against it.
Every coastal state, aside from Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire, will have at least some of their shores open to residents by today. People can walk on the sand and boardwalk here at New York City's beaches, but swimming, barbecues, and other group activities like volleyball are off limits. Beachgoers at Coney Island say they're thrilled to just be outside. Most complied with the New York State requirement to wear a face covering.
Nobody knows what's okay and what's not, so better to be safer than sorry.
I feel very safe coming out here.
In Southern California, businesses near the beaches are getting ready for the crowds.
Memorial weekend is going to be really crazy.
But there is concern about a second wave of infections. In just the last 2 weeks, the number of positive coronavirus cases in Montgomery County, Alabama, has more than doubled.
I think we reopened our economy too soon, and I think that people did not adhere to some of the social distancing guidelines.
A recent Harris poll found most Americans, 95%, say because of the coronavirus, Memorial Day is too soon to take a trip. And some had their events canceled, including the annual Rolling to Remember motorcycle ride honoring veterans in D.C.
We're really looking forward to taking and riding it there, but because of everything that's going on, we can't.
And AAA did not offer a Memorial Day travel forecast for the first time in 20 years, but the agency expects a new record low. Michael George, CBS News, Coney Island, New York.
And the CDC has released new guidelines on the reopening of places of worship after the president announced that he is designating them essential places. The agency encourages the use of face coverings among staff and congregants and recommends cleaning and disinfecting frequently touched surfaces between gatherings. Natalie Brand is at the White House with more.
President Trump announced he is designating places of worship as essential services.
Some governors have deemed liquor stores and abortion clinics as essential, but have left out churches and other houses of worship. It's not right. I call upon governors to allow our churches and places of worship to open right now.
The president also threatened to override any state or local official who does not open churches, mosques, or synagogues.
The leaders in the faith community should be in touch with their local health departments so that they can communicate to their congregates.
As states move toward reopening this week, coronavirus task force coordinator Dr. Deborah Birx pointed to a drop in daily cases in states including New York.
But other areas remain a concern for task force officials, such as here in Washington, D.C. And experts say this holiday weekend, it's important to continue to maintain a distance of 6 feet apart from one another and take other precautions.
When you go out for this weekend of Memorial Day and you want to do some kind of social gathering, it's very important to maintain that 6 feet distance and very important to have your mask with you.
Vice President Mike Pence made his second trip out of Washington this week, this time to highlight the reopening of Georgia, where he met with the state's Governor Brian Kemp and restaurant executives. As the nation pauses to honor fallen heroes this Memorial Day weekend, President Trump welcomed bikers to the White House for their Rolling to Remember event. Flags here and around Washington will remain lowered at half-staff through Monday to also mourn all those who've lost their lives to the coronavirus. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, John Ratcliffe has officially resigned from Congress in preparation for his new role as the Director of National Intelligence. Ratcliffe made the announcement this morning. On a 44-49 vote, the Senate confirmed Ratcliffe as the new National Intelligence Chief yesterday. He represented, I should say, Texas's 4th Congressional District, and that does include Grayson, Fannin, and Lamar counties in our area. Since Ratcliffe had already won the Republican primary seat in March, the Congressional District Executive Committee will meet in August to select his replacement. A spokesperson for Governor Greg Abbott says he will not call a special election to finish Ratcliffe's term this year. Well, Tesla narrows down its new location to either Austin or Tulsa. The move, one of those cities made in hopes of being the company's new home.
So far, just a lone thunderstorm, but check it out on Doppler 12. It's a big one. It's tracking in from the west and may affect parts of Texoma after sunset. How many more storms will join it? Got your overnight forecast when I come back.